we'll go ahead and get started, and then if Steve comes in, we will roll him into the rest of the agenda here. But I'm going to go ahead and open our August meeting for Western Union Municipal Alliance. We do have a quorum present, and if I could, the only thing I have a question on the agenda, I thought we already approved the May minutes. I thought we did that in June, and so, I mean, I know we've got the June minutes, but which I've seen and looked at, and they look fine. But did anybody recall about the May?
I wasn't here in June, so
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I will double check with Karen, and if we could just amend it to just approving the June minutes, and then I will double check with Karen Dewey and see about those May minutes. That's the only change I would make, and that.
Hold on, Amy, was it Karen who sent the agenda?
Yeah, Karen sent it out. But I thought sure we had approved those May minutes at the June meeting, but I could be wrong. But otherwise, if I could just, if that's okay with everybody, we'll adopt the agenda with that one amendment and press on. All right, and can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
That was me.
All right, and now item 3, if we could, if I could get a motion to approve the June minutes as presented,
Motion to approve June minutes as presented.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.
Who seconded?
Everybody.
We
don't do
We didn't do second, we didn't do a second.
Okay.
Public comments. You got that's fine.
We'll take
Moving
it.
right along.
All right, moving right along. All right, here we go. Let's start with delegate municipal reports. Ladies first. Susan, you
What
want to
can
go
I
ahead and...
say? We have a new town manager, Scott Dadson. He officially started Monday. He was sworn in.
Okay,
Richard Hicks stayed on these 4 days. He just left today to get him up to speed. And I think Richard Hicks has a couple more days in the month that he can come back if need be. But Scott Dodson has tons of experience, and I don't think he's, when he interviewed, he had already looked 6 years back in our budgets and audits. And so he's well aware of our,
okay.
Financial position. Staff is happy to have some stability and having a full-time person there. It was getting a little hairy there without having a lot of direction. I know there was a little hubbub about the lot in Waxhaw being sold behind Jekyll and Hyde. So a gentleman that owns the Jekyll and Hyde building, the FD cigar shop, he owns a couple, and the Mona Salon building, had been trying to purchase the lot. He wants to do an economic development build. He's going to put 5 smaller units, about 600 square feet, facing Church Street. He's going to build sidewalks on the whole corner, and he's reconfiguring parking so that we will end up with 3 extra spots, believe it or not, because he's reconfiguring the street parking, the parking across from the church. And because it's an economic development sale, he has to employ X amount of employees. I think it's 15 to 20 employees in a certain amount of time. He has to invest X amount of money. And so we do have a lot of people trying to get in, small business owners. So we didn't want big box. We wanted small boutique type shops.
Right.
And so we did that. Then there was a little hitch, and his attorney said that we needed a lease agreement for the lot because of the liability he would own, because if you make it a public lot, it's on private property. And our 3 commissioners could not make it to the the August 12th meeting, and that left us without quorum, so we couldn't vote on the lease agreement, and so he closed the lot. So, and which meant he closed it on his tenants too. So there was a big to-do around town, and it's open now. We got the lease agreement. It got approved. It's open, and the small businesses are back in action.
Very good.
So
Marvin.
Marvin, a couple of things, recently going on. We just started accepting bids. We're getting ready to update our master plan for the village. So we'll be undergoing that process over the next couple of months. We are, if anybody knows any good ones, we just recently lost a very fine public works director that we've had for a couple of years now, and so we are looking for a new one. So certainly if anybody has any leads on one, you could reach out to Christina Amos, our town manager, village manager, and touch base with her. Also, one of the things that we're excited about that we're going to be doing is we'll be doing a new survey of all Marvin residents this fall. We're working with Central Line on that project, and we're doing it in a way where each household will be sent a postcard, because you want to try to figure out how to get surveys right, and accurate, and not, stuffed in one ballot or another. So each home is getting mailed an individual postcard with a QR code on it. So each family will have one opportunity to fill out the survey. We're looking forward to that. We did it a similar way back in the 2019 timeframe, so it's about time for us to update that, and especially as we get into the master plan, updating our parks and recs and greenways and stuff like that, and get the input from the residents they'd like to provide to us.
Oh, very good. Well, Weddington, I would say things have sort of slowed down a little bit. Now the campaign season has started, everybody's kind of throttled back and nobody wants to do too much. But we did have a presentation by Toll Brothers at our August meeting for it's called Morris Farm, is what they're going to be proposing. It's another subdivision that's just, about acre-sized lots and et cetera, et cetera. But this was just the preliminary before they even do anything with the planning board, they come before council and kind of give the public a chance to, and the council to have a first glance at it. We did have a little bit of a glitch when our tax bills went out. I forget exactly the wording that went out, but there was a little bit of confusion. And I think what most people were wondering about is that we stayed revenue neutral, but we went ahead this year and rolled the trash fee in with the tax bill because Leslie Gaylord, our finance officer, said that it would just simplify things for them immensely, because last go round you had some people that, well, I'm not going to pay that, I do my own garbage and stuff, and you had all these outstanding bills. So just for simplicity's sake, that was rolled in as another expense. At this upcoming meeting, I'm going to be having a discussion about expanding our, if you're not familiar with it, our famous downtown overlay area in Weddington that is supposed to include, and that's the only area that's supposed to include any commercial brick and mortar type development. I can certainly speak later with you if you're curious about that, but that'll be coming up in September. And otherwise, that's the summer's kind of been slowing down a little bit, so there's not really too much else going on. But I will ask this about Marvin: if you guys can have anything on breaking the code on increasing public participation, because I know when we did our land use plan, gosh, ours was 2019 or 20, no, it was later than that. It was about 2 years ago. We got less than 4% participation
From a survey
for our land. Every 5 years we kind of review our land use plan to update it. And I was extremely disappointed. And in fact, I went so far when the numbers came in about how many people participated, I called the math department at UNC Charlotte and asked to speak to whoever was in charge of the statistics department, and got to talk to one of their folks. And what the gentleman told me was, I explained who I was and the numbers I was looking at, because at the time, we had a voting age number population there in Weddington of 9,466, and that was from the 2020 census. So I know that number's probably gone up. But we had like 107 people that showed up to the two in-person events. And then we had 212 people that actually did the online survey that we sent the things out for. And when you run the numbers, and like me, if you count the fact that if you went to the in-person, I did both, So I ran the numbers the first way where, well, all right, if you did the one, I'm assuming you did the other. And that came up with about a 2.4% participation. And then I said, all right, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to say that I'm just going to add them together. And that came up to 3.3%. And what the guy at the math department told me was, he said, well, usually we look at 5% as the bare minimum. He said that is just, considered the bare minimum. If you can get at least 10%, he said, then we feel like you've got some numbers that you can say, well, these, statistically, yeah, we can say these have probably got some value. But like I said, if any other town here in the group has got the magic wand about getting people to participate, I sure would like to know for next time.
I think I recall the last time we did it was somewhere between 10 and 15%, wasn't it, Wayne?
Something like
I
that.
just think it depends on the constituents and how engaged they are, and the age of the population, because if you have a lot of younger families, they don't know what the heck's going on because they're at T-ball and volleyball and school pickup and drop-off. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Now in Waxhaw, we have 25,000 people, and if we get 350 to respond to the survey, the staff thinks that's a win. To me, no, you can't base decisions for a town.
And I don't want to take up too much of the time on this subject, but what my point is to people that stand during the meetings and stand at the podium and say, well, we just did the land use plan. The majority of people here in town said this. This is what we should or shouldn't do. And I go, you're talking 33 out of 1,000 people. 1,000 surveys you sent out, you got 33 responses back, and you're telling me that that's a bona fide, write it in stone. Everybody feels that way. No, sorry. I mean, for the 33 people that participated, absolutely. That I appreciate their input, and I, appreciate what they're saying. But personally, I just don't think you can discount 964 other people. 967 other people, and saying that, you speak for the majority of people in town. But,
Jeff, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to send it out. About 3 to 4 weeks later, we're going to see how many we've got back. And if we don't get much back, we're going out and already got a card made, like a business card, and it's got a QR code on it and stuff, and just go up some of the communities and say, have you turned in your card? And they said, well, I didn't get it, or I lost it. Here's the information. You can call in and get all your stuff, and they'll tell you what it is, and you can go back in.
Yeah, the other thing too, we've already started advertising in our social media and on our email list.
Right.
And we're sending out an actual picture of what the postcard looks like, so that they can be looking at for it as it comes in the mail too. So,
trash can.
I understand.
All right.
We used to be really successful at it, and we started around 2001, and we were getting like 30%. We were doing direct mail, and I personally took great pains to generate a mailing list, not based on the tax rolls, but actually based on every house getting an address to.
Right.
And so they all got a direct mail thing that we put a stamped the seal on it so it looked original, so that people couldn't just copy it and send it. And we were getting 30%. It's dropped off every time. And as Sue said, part of it is the bigger families you have, the less engaged they are, because it's all about their kids and their activities. They're never home.
Right.
Although Mineral Springs remains the oldest municipality in terms of median age in the county. It's about 48 for Mineral Springs, which is astonishingly high. And so that gives us more engaged people because they're around a lot. Having said that, a lot of them are to this day not particularly computer or online savvy. So the last one we did, COG helped us, and we started to do a hybrid, and Nadine Bennett was with COG at the time, and she worked with us on that. And it was, the percentage that came in through the SurveyMonkey link was like 10% of the responses were that. I mean, she couldn't believe how low the digital responses were. So it's kind of hard to read a given town. And Weddington is a little older than I thought they were going to be in terms of it. So you should have a higher participation, I would think.
It'll be like another 2 years, I think, before they do it, but I hope we can, the town can have an improvement.
I liked, what worked for us, and even with the low turn, we were still around 20%, which is comparatively high, I think. But it dropped every year. We've done like 4 of them. Every year it dropped a little bit, and I think people have engaged less. I think that social media and Nextdoor and just sites that you can whine on have made people less interested in just filling out. So somehow they've already exhausted their participation capital in things that aren't going to help, which is too bad. I don't know how you come back.
I know Wesley Chapel helps out a lot, so I don't know. So what's going on with Wesley Chapel?
Let's see.
Our last survey was statistically significant, but we just kept pushing it on social media until we left it open a little bit longer than we thought we had to. We've been kind of quiet. We're doing some community conversations and events in conjunction with the Union County Soil and Water Conservation. What is it, Amy?
Yeah, from part of the North Carolina Wildlife Federation.
Yeah. And those have been moderately well attended. Still trying to close our books from last fiscal year due to stuff. But that's that's about it. We're just kind of slow. I think there's a fall event planned, but we'll see if it actually happens. We do have 2 road projects, the bridge over on Newtown and the roundabout on Potter that we are hoping will happen. And the turn lane on Cuthbertson that the developer was supposed to put in. They're waiting on some more utility relocation.
Where is that on Cuthbertson?
There will be a left turn lane installed when you're leaving Cuthbertson turning onto Newtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That'll be
wide.
helpful.
It will be, and then eventually it will be a roundabout.
I was going to say, okay, so it's
Yes.
a 2-step process.
But we did make sure that because one of our council people was adamant about like why pay for, and we're not paying for this improvement. This is what the county required the builder to do on all those townhomes and things the county approved on the Walmart side of Cuthbertson. There's no more improvements here. They had to do them at the other end. And they've been supposed to do it for a long time before they got like their final occupancy, certificate of occupancy. But they've been waiting on utility relocation, and then we've already paid our portion of the roundabout. The good news is that whatever they're doing will be incorporated, so it's not like it's just wasted.
Okay.
So we're excited about that. That's about it.
Mineral Springs.
Very slow at Mineral Springs. I told you a couple of months ago just that we've realigned the staff. The new finance officer has been here for 2 months. I'm still the official finance officer, but it's a little bit like Suzanne said about the manager. He's talked to me. He had been reviewing Mineral Springs budgets and Mineral Springs AFRs and Mineral Springs audits for the past 5 or 6 years, so he knew about as much about Mineral Springs finance as I knew. So that was good.
Yes.
He's an appropriate, and I'd say it to his face, he's an appropriately nerdy person, which is what you want from your finance officer. And so he seems to be committed to that, and I think that's going to work out well. I can retire from that job at the end of December, I hope. And
Just be mayor? And just be mayor?
if I can get reelected.
All right.
Mayor for 2 years. But yeah, Mineral Springs is,
Good.
yeah, nothing else, no development projects. We did break, finally our John Maida, who Susanna knows because he does work in Waxhaw occasionally, has finally broken ground on one of the 2 projects he's got on the drawing board for downtown. So we're happy to see a slab and some pipes sticking up for a very small building. But anything in our downtown that's commercial is a benefit. So
Understood.
that's all we're doing.
Well, very good. Well, old business, we don't have anything down for old business, but I am going to make an alibi here. I attempted to contact David Willis to try to get an update on where those, SB 205 and stuff. And we were playing phone tag, and the short answer is we weren't able to catch up. But however, from some other folks that I know, what I've been told is that the tact now is going to be that they're not going to try to pass everything in a standalone. They're going to bust it up, and they're going to try to, one and two it at the time and slide it into other stuff.
They started doing that.
Yes,
It
yes.
seems right at the end of the last session.
Yeah.
There were 1 or 2 things.
Our
they did that
lobbyist is keeping us informed. I was actually supposed to go to Raleigh this week to visit and try to get in front of a couple people, even though the board did write a resolution, so I think I would be able to do that. We finally twisted their arm to do so.
So
But
again, I don't know
she
if y'all
said-
got any other good.
She said right now they're stalled in rules,
Right.
but that they will probably try to pick it apart. Now they have this parking lot bill, I think it's $369, I
Okay.
think. And what they want to do is take away any parking requirement. So there will be no more minimum or maximum parking requirements, and they're saying it's because of runoff and all of this. And they're taking a specific sealant away.
Right.
But I'm not so concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the minimums and not having, those requirements, because what we find in Waxhaw is every time a developer comes, that's what they're giving on parking requirements. The biggest problem in town is, we just had to lease a lot for $12,000 because of parking. And so now this new project that they want to do, which is apartments and some commercial space, they wanted to give us 1.5 parking spots per unit. Now there's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedrooms. How does that pan out when people have guests? And if it's a young person renting a 3 bedroom, you're going to have 3 young people renting that so that they can split the rent. That's 3 cars. Nobody has 1 car anymore, unless the car is on the fritz for a bit. And so that's a problem. So that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's what kind of I've been told. But that's the only update I had on that. And as far as new business, I guess sooner or later the things have to change, and I am not running for re-election this fall. I had made that promise to my family 4 years ago that I said two was enough for anybody. So after December, I'll be back to just Mr. Perryman, making my comments when I want to. So I do hope we can, and again, I'm not looking for anything finalized right now, but we're at the point where we need to start thinking about it. And I know, Amanda, you've been vice, at the same time, helped me out greatly with, when I've been called away or had work and couldn't do it. But I want us to kind of be thinking about who we can get, and obviously, yes, we're going to have to wait till after November to see when the dust settles who's left. I don't know if there's and again, I would have to talk to our town attorney if we want to even go to something to where it goes into a rotating thing. So like if once you set the schedule, like if it's going to be in Waxhaw, okay, well then Susanna, you or whoever the Waxhaw person would be in charge for that meeting. Or in other words, think outside the box a little bit. Not that I mind doing it or minded doing it. I think there are some advantages of having, and again, maybe not say organizing the meetings, but if you have a designated chair and vice chair, then when something comes up like that, where we had Dean Arp and David Willis come down, you got a single point that everybody knows who's working that project, kind of
Right.
thing. You know, so so I'm just throwing it out there to kind of chew on. I don't know who's up for re-election this fall, or who I mean, but as I said, we're going to have to wait till November gets here. But I mean, any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions?
Rotating thing's interesting, Jeff. Never thought about that. But as you say, when you have a big event, it's kind of nice to have a coordinator. Of course, that could be accommodated also, where the committee, when a group says someone volunteers to take on working with the host on something like that. I could see spreading it out.
And you know, I guess the other thing too is that I know as the years roll on, everybody's in one of these seats. Somebody else is going to be in the seat sooner or later. But I do think there's value in what we've been doing. I think there's value in us as municipalities getting together like this. And especially like when we had that thing with ARP and Willis.
That was very well attended.
You know,
I think
well
we really got
attended.
value from that.
And again, every meeting we have is not like that. I mean, here it is. I mean, it's August. It's the end of summer, and it's pretty much just us. But at the same time, I know I have personally learned a lot from the other municipalities here. Stuff that I've taken back to Weddington to talk about that they went, oh, is that? Oh, they're doing that. And I just want to make sure that however the transition goes, we can keep this going. I really would hope that it continues. So
my only announcement doesn't affect the chairmanship necessarily, but Jerry Countryman, who's our alternate, has elected not to run for health reasons.
Sure.
And so we're going to have we're going to be appointing a new delegate or a new alternate at some point. So, which of course, as you say, that happens.
It does.
And we miss Jerry's 25 years of institutional knowledge since he's one of the original founders. But we move on, and we'll see who wants to do it from the 6 councilmen who are in office after November.
Okay.
I know from a Marvin perspective, both Joe and Andy are running. So you'll just have to see what comes out after November.
But then the chair thing isn't it? Let's give that some thought.
So, and since we don't meet in December, you know, we'll need to do something at our November meeting.
And that's,
So that gives us
we have September, October, November.
We got 2
And
more.
in November, we'll have an idea of who's been elected, even if
Yeah.
they haven't been sworn in yet. So
Absolutely.
that's good. All our old people,
So,
you and Jerry and so forth, can be at that meeting and be able to vote.
and like I said, if it means thinking outside the lines a little bit about how we do it, as far as, you know, whoever's hosting is going to be in charge of that meeting and set the agenda and yada yada, that's fine. But I do think there's some value in having at least 1 or 2 people designated as the chair and vice chair, so that when something bigger comes up, that there's a point of contact that everybody can say, okay, well, we know who's running that. So, but other than that, that's all I had to talk about tonight. Unless there's anything else that we got to do. And so like I said, unless we got any other delegate comments,
I don't mind a brief meeting.
if nobody minds, well, then all I'll do, Amy, are you good?
I am good.
Okay. Then I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, and our next meeting will be September the, and somebody's going to have to give me the place, because I do not have my notes with me. It's going to be September the, was it 25th? I believe. Anybody have
I might get to pull it up.
pull that up real quick?
Oops. Just saw it. But then you know.
It looks like,
September 25th.
yeah, it doesn't say. This is how I found this one.
Okay.
Stallings.
Stallings on September the 25th at 4 o'clock.
Guess what we're doing? A motion to adjourn.
We have just finished.
All
All right, so have I got the motion to adjourn?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Tell Joe and Andy hello.
So this is how we do it when they're not here.
Well, if Joe's at a meeting, it'd be an hour longer.
Yeah. Well, we really didn't have a lot on the
Are
agenda.
you running opposed? All right, that's all.
You're
You're
in
in.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I think all this is over with.
Write-ins, I mean,
When you have a,
Martin Harper.
New subdivision.
She's MIA.
who winds up with the roads?
Toledo won a write-in vote.
Oh, gosh.
He won a couple of them over the years.
Only one write-in, but it was.
Amy, does this thing,
You got here.
And he didn't announce, until like the day before.
2 days
election
before,
day,